Hey everyone, it's great to see you again. Today we are going to do a story about noises and nighttime, but right now with the song As Quiet as a Mouse. It's more of a chant. We've done this a few times at school to kind of help us calm down. This one, super simple, so we're going to do it and then we'll talk about it in a little bit. It just goes like this. We can start out with a few different motions. As quiet as a mouse we wave. As quiet as a mouse we wave. As quiet as a mouse in its little bitty house. As quiet as a mouse we wave. And then we say things like, as quiet as a mouse we turn. Then we can stand up and turn. As quiet as a mouse we turn. As quiet as a mouse in its little bitty house. As quiet as a mouse we turn. And then we do things like stretch and yawn, and then we sit. And that's one of the ways that we get ready for group time. So those are different things that you can do to help get ready to calm down and listen to a story. And later on you can add all kinds of different things. You can figure out what you can do quietly. Maybe you can make some loud animals and figure out what you can do that's loud too. Those activities are going to be down on the bottom. And then we have our letter. What letter is that? It's the letter N. It's our uppercase N and our lowercase n. Up here, there's a nest. Right now, my carport, I had a bird build a nest, and there's not eggs anymore in there. There are baby birds. She's been going in there a lot, and she's bringing them food, and they're really noisy. That word right there, it says noisy. The baby chicks are noisy because they're hungry and they're letting mom know they want some food. So that's that letter N for nest. Let's see how I make a sign language N. Look at that, an N. Real simple. Goes right in the middle there. There's 2 fingers on one side and 2 fingers on the other, and your thumb goes right there in the middle. That makes the N. Okay, I'll say N for the letter N. You're going to come up with some N words. Why did the letter N? Because this book talks about noisy. Here it says, the very noisy night. Right now at my house, it's noisy outside. The wind has been blowing like crazy. Been blowing the trees. I have a wind chime outside, so it's been blowing the wind chime. It's making tinkling noises. The leaves are falling down, and it's making noises outside. And the cat keeps running to the window to look out and see what's making all that noise. And then we have some squirrels running around. They make noise. And there's my neighbor's cats who like to wander through our yard sometimes, and they make noise. So, but I see mouse. Mouse is looking a little anxious. The author of this book says by Diana Hendry. She's the author, and the illustrator is Jane Chapman. We have some other books that we read that Jane Chapman's the illustrator of. I see mouse. Where's mouse at? In bed. It's his pillow and his quilt. Look at mouse. I wonder what he wants, what he's doing. We'll have to see. Look at all those different colors. Lots of different patterns on squares that are all together. Any idea what that might be? It's on our end page. And there's another one on this end page. And look, I see mouse is holding something with all those squares. Here's our title page. It says, The Very Noisy Night. It's by Diana Hendry, illustrated by Jane Chapman. Up, there's a blanket again. That's called a quilt. It's on the bed. Let's move this way so we can see both pages. There we go. It says, it was the middle of the night, and Big Mouse, there's Big Mouse, was fast asleep in his big bed. I know it's Big Mouse because it says Big Mouse is asleep, and he's asleep. It looks pretty big. And then it says, Little Mouse was wide awake in his little bed. Uh-oh. There's Little Mouse, and let's look. Little Mouse is there, wide awake. Huh. I wonder why he's wide awake. And he says, Big Mouse, called Little Mouse. I can hear something rushing around the house, huffing and puffing. Uh-oh. And going around the house huffing and puffing, that's not good. Let's see what it is. Big Mouse opened one eye and lifted one ear. It's only the wind, he said. Can I come in your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. There isn't room. And he turned over and he went back to sleep. Doesn't look like Little Mouse is ready to go to sleep. Little Mouse lay listening to the wind, and suddenly, between a huff and a puff, came a tap, 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 tap. Little Mouse jumped out of bed, opened the front door just a crack, and peeped out. Whoosh went the wind. But there was no one outside. Big Mouse, called Little Mouse. I can hear someone tapping. I think there's a burglar on the roof. Little Mouse seems kind of anxious. Big Mouse got out of bed and opened the bedroom curtains. Look, he said. It's only a branch tapping on the window. Go back to sleep. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. You wriggle. I think Little Mouse really wants to get in bed with Big Mouse. Little Mouse lay in his own bed and listened to the wind, huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and someone calling, hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. Little Mouse climbed out of bed again. This time he looked under it. Then he looked in the wardrobe, and feeling very frightened, he yelled, Big Mouse, I think there's a ghost in the room, and it's looking for someone, and it keeps calling, hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. Big Mouse sighed, sat up, and listened. It's only an owl, he said. It stays up all night like you. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. Your paws are always cold. Big Mouse pulled the blanket over his head and went back to sleep. And Little Mouse got back into his own bed. Little Mouse sat up and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and the owl hooting, but shh, what was that? Big Mouse, he called. I think it's raining inside. And Little Mouse jumped up out of bed and fetched his red umbrella. Drip, 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 drip. Big Mouse got out of bed. He opened the front door to see if it was raining at all. Then Big Mouse went into the kitchen and turned off the dripping faucet. He gently pried the umbrella out of Little Mouse's paws and put it away. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, you're nice and snug in your own bed, said Big Mouse, taking him back to the bedroom. Little Mouse lay listening to the wind huffing and puffing and the branch tap-tapping and the owl hooting. And just as he was beginning to feel very sleepy indeed, he heard, "Wee! Wee! Wee! Big Mouse," he called. "You're snoring." Poor Big Mouse. Wearily, Big Mouse got up. He put his earmuffs on Little Mouse's ears. He put a paper clip on his own nose, and he went back to bed. Do you think Little Mouse is going to fall asleep? Let's see. Little Mouse lay and listened to nothing. It was very, very, very quiet. He couldn't hear the wind huffing, or the branch tapping, or the owl hooting, or the big mouse snoring. It was so quiet that Little Mouse felt he was all alone in the world. He took off the earmuffs, got out of bed, and pulled the paperclip off Big Mouse's nose. Big Mouse, he cried. "I'm lonely." Big Mouse flung back his blanket. "Better come into my bed," he said. So Little Mouse hopped in, and his paws were cold, and he needed just a little wriggle before he fell fast asleep. Big Mouse lay and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, the owl hooting, and Little Mouse snuffling, and very soon he heard the birds waking up. But neither of them heard the alarm clock, because they were both fast asleep. Look at that. They had stayed up most of the night because poor Little Mouse was having a hard time sleeping, and he kept waking up Big Mouse. So now they're sound asleep, snuggling. I know both my girls like to snuggle. Maggie still likes to snuggle, even though she's 12. Sometimes she still likes to come snuggle in my bed. And that's okay, because I like to snuggle too. Look, and there's the dedication page. It's on the back of the book. This says, "For Amelia." That's the author who did that dedication. And the illustrator said, "For Anthony, Jane, Mark, Katie, and Alice, with love." Look, and there's another quilt in the back. More quilts with lots of different patterns. The end. I put some activities at the bottom, like I usually do. There weren't very many links that had lessons already with the book, so I went ahead and just made up my own. Pretty easy to do with these books. But one of the things I put on there are quilts. Quilts are a lot of fun. Quilts are great for patterns. They're good for counting. They're good for doing repeating patterns or just random patterns. They're fun to sew. And the kids, the 3- and 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, they can sew. Sometimes they just need the bigger needles, but they can sew. They need some practice. Burlap bags are like the easiest thing in the world to sew. Those are always the best. I have some burlap bags, but not everybody has those. A lot of coffee companies will have them. They're easy to use, but not everybody does. I just scrap fabric, old clothes they can't wear anymore, let them cut them up, sew them in to make their own blankets with. Just do lots of fun things. I hope you guys are doing lots of fun things while we're all stuck at home. We're going to be stuck at home for a little while longer. We're hoping to get back to school at some point, though. And I will talk to you all later. Love you. Bye.